Hey YouTube, just want to do a couple of tips regarding suspension changes. This came off of a 2003 Toyota Sequoia, but what I'm about to explain to you applies to all suspension. So typically when you change shocks or struts or springs, you look for two main things. One is degradation in performance, either in a spongy feel, or maybe the vehicle sways too much or doesn't rebound from a bump very well. It can be a little too bouncy. Sometimes it can be too stiff. And another thing to look at is tire wear. Obviously the first thing you think of with tire wear is tire pressure and or alignment issues. But another thing to consider is in the shocks, for example, normal rebound or normal function of a shock is it should be fairly hard to press down and pretty even in feel. Now this one in particular is very easy, then it gets a little rough, harder, as it should, and then you see this is almost barely moving. All right, it should have come up by now to full extension. Now the problem with that is when you're riding on the road, going over bumps, it's gonna kind of compress, and then this one's not really gonna rebound very well. So your tire's not gonna be planted very well on the ground. This other one, very easy about halfway through, then you can feel the fluid, and it has slightly faster rebound. But the point of this video is to just kind of consider a couple things. These actually happen to be 100,000 mile shocks, but there was no noticeable degradation of performance. We took it off of a 2003 Toyota Sequoia with, well, the vehicle itself has 340,000 miles. These shocks had 100,000 miles. Could detect no issues at all. So just in changing them out, then I did this performance test and was able to determine that it was quite problematic. So again, something to consider is you're not always going to feel the performance degradation. You're not always going to see evidence that it's wearing tires, but it's just something to consider. This was, again, 100,000 miles, maybe about 7-8 years old. I hope that helps. But again, normal function of this should be that it's a smooth, compression and rebound. This is easy, and then about an inch of actual fluid you can feel on their resistance, and it's barely moving. All right, hope that helps.